And then it gets here, and then the demon finally reveals itself.
We have been loose to evolve into the next dimension.
That just hit me.
Did that hit you?
That hit me.
Wow.
Whoa.
Now listen to who T.D. Jakes just said is going to be a guest speaker at his next conference.
A special thank you to the people that was really like there for me. Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Howdy y'all, I'm Brylan. So T.D. Jakes was recently on the Today Show, and in this video, he talks about his near-death experience and what he saw on the other side. He also addresses all those gay assault allegations that keep coming up against him. And finally, Jakes reveals who he asked to be a guest speaker at his next conference. And trust me, this name is going to shock you. And it just confirms that T.D. Jakes hasn't changed one bit. But if you consider hitting that thumbs up button, you're not agreeing with all the insanity I'm about to show you. You're helping push this video out to more people to help spread the truth. So this interview starts off with T.D. Jakes explaining the massive heart attack that he had while giving a sermon at his church.
Let's end the speculation now. What did happen to you that morning on stage?
You know, I didn't really realize what was happening to me on stage until I got to the hospital in an ambulance and fussing that it happened on stage, by the way, because I didn't want it to happen. And the doctor leaned over my ear and said, you had a massive heart attack. And the reason I didn't realize it is because I had none of the symptoms that they say, no numbness, no sharp pain, no anything. I just kind of drifted off to sleep. I didn't know what it was, but I almost died.
Massive heart attack.
He said 5 minutes later I'd have been dead on arrival. The right side of my heart had completely stopped getting blood at all. And as long as I was up preaching, I felt fine. But when I sat down, the adrenaline dropped, and it exposed the fact that I was preaching with half of my heart closed through a clot.
Now I have massive issues with T.D. Jakes. I think his theology is way out of line, and he has taught some extremely dangerous things, but I don't wish this on anybody. This is very sad to hear, and I pray that T.D. Jakes would use this situation to genuinely come to terms with the massive deception that he's taught in the past, the things he's been a part of, and repent of those things. But again, that doesn't mean I wish harm on T.D. Jakes. Here's the actual moment when he was on stage giving his sermon when he had the massive heart attack.
Let him go in peace.
And he's having the massive heart attack. Now here's where T.D. Jakes talks about what happened during that very moment we just watched, where he says he saw a glimpse of what comes after this life.
They say sometimes that when you come that close to death, you see things, you hear things. Did you see or hear anything?
I wasn't there in the chair. I didn't experience like it looks like. It's hard for me to look at that video because they had to claw the microphone out of my hand. And I wrote a book, Don't Drop the Mic, so I didn't plan to live up to it like that. But they had to claw it out of my hand. But in my mind, I was in a quiet, peaceful, serene, white enveloped, cloud enveloped space. I was on my way out. And it was, afterwards, in retrospect, it was such a privilege to stand on the other side, just to get a little glimpse of what that might be like, or at least what it was like in that moment for me. I think it was absolutely amazing.
Now, I don't wish for this to have happened to T.D. Jakes. Again, I want to make that clear, but why does it always have to turn into, I got a vision of the other side. I got to see what the next life is going to be like, at least in part. I got a little bit of a sight of it. It really just plays into T.D. Jakes' propensity to be a showman. And he loves to have this like secret knowledge that he has that you don't possess. Again, this plays into T.D. Jakes being a showman. If you remember the Woman Thou Art Loosed conference, this is something that T.D. Jakes had done for like 30 years. It's this conference for women. Well, in 2022, it officially ended in its current form, and he passed the baton onto his daughter, I mean, this is nepotism at its finest. But I want you to watch some clips from this conference and tell me that this man isn't a showman.
The time has come that I must decrease.
Wow.
That you might increase.
Now, this goes on for a very long time. This whole conference was a show. The fact that he's sitting here using "I must decrease so that you may increase," this is just toting the line of going way too far. Comparing yourself to something that was between John and Jesus, and they're using it and comparing their situation to John stepping down away, getting out of the limelight so that Jesus could be in full view.
It is not by favoritism or nepotism.
Okay. Okay.
If I did not know that the hand of the Lord was on you, I would never do this. As Samuel's horn of oil anointed David, I so anoint you. May the strength and the power of the Almighty God rest upon you, rest upon your life.
Once again, the perfect showman. Again, you saw T.D. Jakes essentially compare himself and his daughter here to Jesus, and then says this has nothing to do with nepotism. But we all know it 100% does. She has no business being a pastor. We all know that. But then here you see he's comparing him dropping the oil as if it's the head of David.
And I believe that you are made of the stuff that it takes to step into your destiny and still let her step into hers. And I embrace you as my son.
And there's tons of LGB people here too, by the way. Don't let that sneak past you. And then the collapse again. Yeah. Okay, so again, this is Sarah Jakes Roberts, her husband down there that just fell, and they bring him up to essentially say, you are now taking the position of the wife to your wife. It's embarrassing. One last clip of this Woman Thou Art Loosed conference sponsored by Coca-Cola. Listen to what Sarah Jakes Roberts says here and tell me this doesn't give the whole thing away.
I guess it's just the beginning of a next dimension then. I guess all things really do work together for the good of those who love the Lord and called according to his purpose. I guess if one can trace 1,000, then a few of us could put the devil on notice that we have been loosed to evolve into the next dimension. I don't even need all of you. I just need one or two riders to decide that it's gonna end with me, and then it's gonna begin with me, and generational blessings will be my inheritance.
Did anybody else notice her voice? Essentially, like a demon took over and just started saying, we're going to evolve into the next dimension. Like, what? Literally, you're toying with God for 36 minutes straight. And then it gets here, and then the demon finally reveals itself and starts saying all this wacky stuff. And it's all me-centered. This entire thing is about me. All of them, that's what they do the best. All right, now here's where T.D. Jakes actually talks about the accusations against him.
A lot of chatter online last year about T.D. Jakes and Diddy and a lot of conspiracy theories out there.
Yeah.
And then your lawyer's now seeking to subpoena Google over AI-generated YouTube videos. Instead of letting that one go, your lawyers are going after these videos. Why?
Because it's become a business. Killing people's character has become a business, and your own network did their own research and proved that the AI-generated images and pictures that went everywhere were AI-generated.
Now, the answer given there just had to do with the AI-generated stuff, which people did do and spread it across social media as memes and stuff like that. That did happen, but they're neglecting the fact that there is tons of evidence that points towards T.D. Jakes did have a very close relationship with the didster. And will we ever see those files? Will we ever see those videos? Well, much like, the Epstein files, the True JK files, all those files, along with the didster files, we're never gonna see what they don't want us to see. That's the cold, hard truth.
A special thank you to the people that was really there for me. Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Now we know, as a matter of fact, that the didster's spiritual advisor, spiritual mentor, a very, very close person to the didster in a way that not many people were, was T.D. Jakes. So, things don't look so good, sound so good, but actually in T.D. Jakes' favor, they're trying to protect. Do you know the price of these videos, of these lists that are, that the Epstein, the Diddy files, all those? Do you know the price on those? Do you know how much those are worth? They're worth far too much money, just with the blackmail, the power, the control that those lists have over people, that there's no way we are ever going to see what they don't want us to see. So that's actually in Jake's favor. The truth may never come out in video evidence. Now listen to who T.D. Jakes just said is going to be a guest speaker at his next conference. This proves right here that T.D. Jakes hasn't changed a bit.
I'm getting ready to do our Good Soul Conference, June 12th through the 14th. I've got Lorenzo coming from Fear of God. I've got Oprah Winfrey coming up.
T.D. Jakes is inviting Oprah Winfrey to be a speaker at his next conference. That's a massive issue. I've done videos in the past showing the relationship between T.D. Jakes and Oprah Winfrey and just how really evil it is and the things that they've done together. I'm going to show you some of that in just a second. But Oprah Winfrey is a massive, insane, radical left universalist. And yet here is Jakes, again, still yoking himself to someone like Oprah Winfrey.
I grew up in the church, joined the church when I was 8 years old. I've heard a lot of preachers preach in my life. I've never heard, seen, or experienced anybody like you.
Wow. You're going to make me blush. That's what you do. Dear Oprah, you have inspired an entire generation, informed us, exposed us, and challenged us. You bucked the trend and endured the ridicule of lesser rights. As Michelle Obama would say, when they went low, you went high. That despite of all who forsook her, betrayed her, and denied her, he chose her, called her. He made her a promise to protect her under the pinions of his mighty wings. When you hold on to your history, you do it at the expense of your destiny.
Oh, my God. Woo! That hit me. That just hit me.
Did that hit you?
That hit me.
Wow.
Whoa. One of the mistakes that human beings make is believing that there is only one way, that there are millions of ways to be a human being, and many ways, but many paths to what you call God. And her path might be something else, and when she gets there, she might call it the light. But her loving and her kindness and her generosity brings her, if it brings her to the same point that it brings you, it doesn't matter whether she called it God along the way or not.
I am a Christian. That is my faith. I'm not asking you to be a Christian. If you want to be one, I can show you how. But it is not required. I have respect for all faiths. All faiths. Spirituality. So I want to get clear on what I mean by that. It means, my definition is living your life with an open heart through love. Allowing yourself to align with the values of tolerance, acceptance, of harmony, of cooperation, and reverence for life.
In reading books such as Tully's, it's really opened my eyes up to a new way of thinking, a new form of spirituality that doesn't always align with the teachings of Christianity. So my question is to you, Oprah, how have you reconciled these spiritual teachings with your Christian beliefs?
I've reconciled it because I was able to open my mind. I took God out of the box because I grew up in the Baptist church and there were, rules and,
belief systems and doctrine. This great minister was preaching about how great God was and how omniscient and omnipresent and God is everything. And then he said, and the Lord thy God is a jealous God. And something struck me. God is all, God is omnipresent, God is all, and God's also jealous. And something about that didn't feel right in my spirit. That's when the search for something more than doctrine started to stir within me. And God is a feeling experience, not a believing experience.
That's right.
Ephesians chapter 5. Read this with me. Starting in verse 6 down to verse 11. Let no one deceive you with empty words, for because of these things the wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. Therefore, do not become partners with them, for at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true, and try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Look at verse 11. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please hit that thumbs up button, when you like this video, to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.